You gonna have to get out.
What's up? What's up? What's up? Good evening, people, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls that's tuning in to the Fifth Quarter Podcast. I am Skip. I'm the A mic again. Tonight we had some people had some personal things to take care of, so it's just me and Diamond Dirty D for life. Man, how's everything going, brother? Talk.
Good evening. What's going on? I got this wide lens going today. Something going on with the camera. I don't know what stream y'all got going on. So you got a full body shot of me and stuff on me.
Yeah, you can angle the camera a little bit, boy, because you're looking like a bloomp over there.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like my hands all wide and stuff like that. But we're gonna make it work. We're gonna make it work.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, man, we've been in and out as far as the podcast goes. We haven't had all four screens here in a minute, and we've been, with family issues and et cetera. So we haven't been in tune with each other because for one reason or another, we've all been blanking and missing. So, ladies and gentlemen, when you do tune in, man, y'all be sure and comment in the comments. Make little statements or whatever. We try to read them and interact with everybody, but we want to engage with you guys as much as you want to hear us talk about the topics we do. So, with that being said, man, let's get into this NFL draft, man, and the potential trades and whatnot. And to kick that off, before we even talk about draft picks and draft stocks and trading or not, the 49ers just re-signed probably one of the best offensive linemen ever to play the game, Trent Williams. Restructured his contract and signed it to a $50 million, a 2-year, $50 million contract with $37 million guaranteed and a $23 million signing bonus. So pretty much they just gave him $50 million, but they didn't give it to him. He earned it. He's globally recognized as probably one of the best right tackles in the NFL for the last 8 years, all pro. So yeah, I think that's well deserved for him, and good look for the 49ers not to play with the man, give him his money and get him on it so he can get in spring training and get right. So what you think about that?
Well, y'all, something that because that's your team, I know, and some of the stuff that you have been fussing about for the last 2-3 years about how Lynch has been playing around with their money and not getting them in the camp on time. And this year, if you got a list of some of your key players, Greenlaw is back also. I think they got him on a 1 year.
Warner's back too. Warner's at full strength now.
Yeah, so they have re-signed their people account a little bit early from when previous years, as you as the number one 49er fan, you complain about that on a regular basis. So moves are being made right before the draft, and it's a lot of teams out there that are doing some stuff and restructuring because it's a move that's going to be made draft night. You're going to probably see some trades, some shockers and things of that nature. Go ahead, Skip.
One more thing too, Adam Schefter has reported that A.J. Brown is almost definitely out of Philadelphia. The rumor now is when the draft happens or right around draft time, he will be traded to the Patriots.
Well, I'm gonna say that. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
So they probably ain't gonna move him after June 1st because of the cap hit, which would make sense. Me being honest, because that's my team. Up to the point, hell of a player.
Mm-hmm.
Can't take nothing away from him. We got a Super Bowl ring with him being on the roster, but it's to the point the marriage is over. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes because we're not privileged to know all the things, but I just don't understand it. But hey, you're a long time. He's a long time New England fan. Personally, I wouldn't let him dictate where I trade him to.
That's right.
But hey, if they the suitors, that's fine. This is a part where, as an organization, the player's not bigger than the organization. You
Right.
know,
But the leverage he has is that he has a Super Bowl ring. That's what everybody plays for. He has some money, maybe not all of it, but he does have some money. So he has leverage here. And if I was in the front office of the Philadelphia Eagles, I would look for Jacksonville. Jacksonville has 10 picks in this draft to work with. So if you're going to trade him somewhere, Jacksonville needs a wide receiver. You get what I'm saying? They're not in your division. Get
that's
your
a
picks for him.
that's an interesting call.
You see what I'm saying? But see, this is where us as armchair quarterbacks, we get to see this stuff. And if we see it just casual reading or researching, these GMs got to know that. Jacksonville has a bunch of needs. They got 10 picks to work with. So I'll give you 2 seconds and a third for AJ Brown. You get what I'm saying? So you trade him to New England for possibly 1 pick?
Well, the problem is with it is, Skip, when you see another receiver that got traded, which we seen Waddle get traded to Waddle gets traded to the Broncos, and you see what the Broncos giving up. Is Waddle a better receiver than AJ Brown? He's a little younger, but he's
No.
not in that
He's
caliber.
faster. He's faster, but that's it.
Yeah, but when you say, okay, now if Denver gave up all this for this particular player, what do we get? Because you can say, yeah, I want everybody to go. I want to go to New England. That's why I want you to think. But I'm not obligated to send you New England. If somebody come along and offer me 2 ones,
Nobody's going to give him 2 ones.
I'm just saying in general. If it
Right.
went that route, because as you see what just happened with the guy, the defensive tackle from the Giants. He just got traded to the Bengals, and the Bengals basically has restructured his deal from the New York Giants, and they got their number 1 pick this year. So now the Giants got the number 10 pick and another number 1 pick just off this year. That's why I'm saying, when you thinking about these deals getting made, the only thing it is that hurts the Eagles in this, that AJ Brown all year has been talking about he won't out, which lowers the trade market for him because they know he wants to be gone.
Yeah. And see, that's the thing. What look at what the 49ers did, how bad we looked getting rid of Debo. We got a 4th round pick for a perennial all-world wide receiver when healthy. You can't make that mistake if you're Philadelphia. AJ Brown is definitely worth more than the 4th round pick. And Jacksonville has 10. I can't remember the last time a team had 10 draft picks going into the draft, not trading number 3 for like 3 or 4 picks to get 10, but going into the draft with 10 picks. I would be trying to get the highest picks possible, multiple, for AJ Brown versus the 1 pick, maybe a backup player somewhere that you're going to get if you trade him to New England, making him happy and depleting your wide receiver core. It doesn't make sense from me being an armchair quarterback GM. You get what I'm saying? So, but that's just my outlook on it.
Well, the good thing is, like I said, we picked up some receivers in free agent, and not of AJ Brown caliber.
So that means you're going to give him away?
That's just a roster filler. It's just a roster filler. But me personally, he would have to play out his contract, but it's a lot. That's me talking because I'm a fan of that team. But when you have that type of cancerous type vibe going on, it'll ruin the whole season. Also with a quarterback that's in a situation that now he's on his 5th offensive coordinator in 5-some years or whatever. So there's a lot going on there. You did get a Super Bowl out of this. You can't knock that. You know what I'm saying? You've been to 2 Super Bowls in the last 3-4 years. You lost 1, you won 1. So you can't complain. Sometimes it's time to break it up. I always tell everybody when you look at these teams as we get into the draft, you have a 5-year window when you see these teams start gelling and start whooping tail and doing things and getting to these NFC championships and AFC championships and Super Bowl. You can't sustain it because the NFL, the teams, they catch up with what you're doing.
And then the salary cap
And
is
the
hamstring
salary cap,
teams too.
yes.
But I'm gonna tell you something. One of our longtime participants on this podcast, her son is rumored to be on the trade board to Philadelphia Eagles. Jonathan Grenard, the Minnesota, Minnesota,
Grenard.
Grenard, same thing.
Don't
But
let
I'm
mama
just
don't
saying,
let mama come get you. Don't let
I know
mama
she
come.
gonna get me when she come back on. But him and yeah, he can't. No, his mom came on talking about him, but he's rumored to. There's been rumors about him coming to Philadelphia via a trade. So, Damien, good afternoon, good evening, brother. Thank you, Aiden. Thank y'all for tuning in.
Let's
But
get with it.
that would be, I think, it from your viewpoint. I think that'd be a great pickup because he's been 70, 80 tackles from his position yearly, and he had a decent contract this last one with Minnesota. So I don't think I
We
can't.
we are still searching for pass defensive end to solidify the pass rush. We got so many players over there. They just trying to solidify a veteran player at that position to stay key and under contract. And that'll be awesome for me. You know what I'm saying? Because he's family,
Right.
local guy from around Georgia and things of that nature. So it'll be interesting. And like I said, we're one of the franchises. Howie Roseman is always trying to upgrade, and he does a lot of trading at the draft. You know what I'm saying? They like to compile picks or get players. So it might be a splash move. We shall see.
Okay. Yeah. Minnesota has said they want a premium second, third, or fourth round pick for him. So that's probably one of the things where, like, again, if you trade AJ to Jacksonville, you can get multiple picks like that. To go get Brenner, then it would make sense, to let him go. That way you could pick up a need, because
Mhm.
like you said, y'all saying it. But enough about Philadelphia, man. Let's keep it
Yeah.
moving. Let's keep
So,
it.
we got, this is a time where we like to discuss where you're gonna have some kids, 20-year-olds, 21-year-olds, 22-year-olds, that are going to become millionaires overnight. When this draft takes place over the weekend, starting Thursday, and we always try to look at the fact that hey, you're gonna have an entourage, you're gonna have family members. Just because you see a kid get $10 million does not mean he has $10 million. It was a section that I did some research where I seen where they broke down a contract, Skip, where $10 million ended up being the kid walked away with 5.8 left on his contract. That was after taxes. That was after he played in different states that they go play in and so forth. He ended up with $5.8 million, which is not a lot of money on his first contract, and with signing bonus. So, as we see, it's a lot of stories are gonna start coming out where you're gonna see these kids falling in the draft, and you're gonna be wondering why. Where you see like stuff they did when they were younger, and so forth and so on. So, I wanted to address that because, guys, ladies and gentlemen, you have to be mindful. These guys are becoming millionaires overnight, and they'll be scrutinized, um, looked at in a different way because their lifestyle gonna change and things of that nature. But when Skip get back, right now they got Jeremiah Love as the number one overall player in the draft. Not the number one player that's gonna be picked, but the number one overall player in the draft as a running back. And this is what you see if you just, like you say, armchair quarterbacks and you don't know anything about it. When you're wondering why a kid is not getting drafted at a certain level, it's also team need, player, and scheme that they're running on them particular teams. When you see, hey, why this lineman is going before this dynamic player? Hey, linemen get paid in the NFL a lot of money, just what Skip was talking about Trent Williams. You know what I'm saying? Compared to a running back, wide receiver, or a corner or a safety. We know they dynamic players, but this is what takes place.
Right. And to piggyback off what you said is when people always complain about why this player went so far down in the draft and they don't understand what they're looking at, then they're what we like to coin as fair weather fans because everybody understands what team needs are. So if you don't know that and then you complain, then you're just a bigger fan of that person than of the sport because that's what happens in the draft. That's why you'll get a dynamic player to go out of the top 10 because none of those top 10 teams needed that position. Whereas a 49er team, somebody drafting in the back end of the draft would trade up just to get that player because they don't want to lose him in the middle of the draft. So, yeah, I'm with you.
So, you have a lot of mock drafts out here. I was one of the ones to say that last week I was like, don't be surprised if the Raider trade back. So all the people, you got the Raiders picking Mendoza first, quarterback out of Indiana. David Bailey. They saying the Jets, but the Jets are in place, Skip, to move back and trade back to compile more picks. Now the Jets got a bunch of first round picks because they traded half of their team last year to do all this. David Bailey, Texas Tech senior guy, edge rusher. Arvell Reese, linebacker out of edge out of Ohio State, going number 3 to the Cardinals.
Mm-hmm.
Sonny Styles, another linebacker out of Ohio State, which Ohio State has a lot of players in this draft. Your D tackle out of Miami, not the one Bain, but you got
Well,
Francis.
Bain is an end. Bain is considered an end.
Well, excuse me, they got Francis, your offensive tackle, going. He's a little
Right.
okay. Going to the Giants, which I say that could be iffy. And so forth. But the Jeremiah Love kid that I was talking about, they have him going number 7 to the Washington Commanders. So I say, you see how far he's supposed to be the number 1 overall player in the draft, and he's already slid down to number 7 by some of these mock drafts. So it's like I say, it's need in this draft. This is not a very quarterback type draft here, as you see. Mendoza, and you got Ty Simpson, the kid out of Alabama, as the next quarterback that's possibly going to get drafted. But Ty Simpson is not a first round talent to me.
Right. No, not at all. Lost my train of thought. We were talking about the defense. You said the Giants are probably going to take who would you say?
They got the Giants right now. That's an offensive tackle. I'm sorry. I thought that was your other defensive man, but
okay.
an offensive tackle.
The Giants drafted my homeboy's son 2 years ago, Evan Neal.
He ain't
so now. I'm sorry.
He ain't getting on the field for some reason.
No, he's when he does, he plays until he got hurt. But the thing is, you wasted a first round pick on him, and you're just going to give up now and get somebody else that you're still going to have to bring into the fold. It's almost like nobody comes into the league just blowing people away. Peyton Manning didn't blow people away. He was 1-15 his first year. They stuck with him. Now I'm not saying that because he's my homeboy's son. I'm saying that because you have other needs that can be addressed in this draft than to go right back and get an offensive tackle.
Well, at the same time, you got a quarterback. So you go again, is what we're saying. You're looking at the coach, and they got a brand new coach coming in. And this is what CBS Sports is predicting. This ain't set in stone for what they might need, because they might get Jeremiah Love. They do still need a running back up there with the Giants. In my opinion, Scalaboo is not the end be all at their position. Right. You never know what might change. And like you said, with Harbaugh coming in as a coach, he does like to run the football. And Jackson Dart has been known to have a bunch of concussions also. So, however he wants to build a team, it still got to be some linemen. You got 2 tackles. So, who knows if this is just a prediction. But I don't see them. I see them going after a running back. Personally, this is what I think. Jeremiah Love might get picked up if he don't get picked up by the Arizona Cardinals.
I think Harbaugh leaving the Ravens, you went to a pretty stacked team when you went there. You just had to implement your play style. That's not going to work for him in New York. I don't think he has enough of what he needs to make his style of play work.
it's gonna be a minute
Exactly.
because you
And
gotta. I'm sorry not to cut y'all. You gotta think he inherited a defense.
yes, world class defense. So all he had to do was work on his offense. And he got a decent defense in New York. I just feel like it's one of those things to where everybody wants the coach to be the savior. You know what I mean? All coaches can do is like school teachers. They can tell you what to do. They can show you how to do it on a board or an iPad in this case. You got to go out there and execute it. So their deficiencies weren't just the tackle spots, both left and the right tackle. So regardless of who starts or whatever, I just feel like you got to shore up a lot of other stuff because it wasn't just the offense not winning; it was the defense not stopping.
Well, Skip, they got something to play with. They got the Giants got the number 5 and number 10th pick with what they did with that trade. So they got something to play with. Heck, you can take that, you can keep that number 10 pick, and if somebody want to jump up to 5, like you say, you can get that and compile more picks if you want to, depending on what they do. I think they're gonna stay where they at, but you best believe somebody gonna try to come get one of them picks if they can, because they didn't moved up.
Right. I'm looking at it now. Dallas has multiple first round picks. The Giants have multiple first round picks.
Mm-hmm.
The Jets have multiple first round picks.
Yes.
And
in my opinion.
Right.
In my opinion,
So,
this is going to be one of the
I
drafts
can
you see
see,
a lot of movement.
Right. I can see Dallas trying to trade one of their first round picks and something else to move up. That way they can pick, be in a position. I can see the Jets doing it, but the Jets have too many holes to plug to give away picks. You know what I mean? Because in order to trade up, you got to give away a first round and another one. But that's just my outlook on that.
It's a lot of, like I said, as we always say, who gonna F the draft up?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Somebody gonna do something that's gonna throw the whole draft off. And as we get closer, you're gonna be wondering why some of these players are dropping. Go, you get it.
Right. The one thing you said before we get away from this draft thing is if the Raiders decide not to take not to trade away the first round pick, that will mess the whole draft up.
Yes.
Because I don't see none of the top 5, none of the top 8 that need a quarterback outside the Saints. And I really don't think they draft a quarterback.
Yeah, the Saints. I mean, the only other one would be Arizona.
Right, but they're not even in. They're number 3. Oh.
Yeah, Arizona. The Jets got Geno back. You don't know what the Browns may do. The Browns, that they GM was talking about maybe getting a quarterback later.
That'd be so stupid. Yeah, you got 3 quarterbacks on the roster now.
Yeah, so you got Miami in play. You see what I'm saying? Well, no, you don't have Miami play.
No, Miami's number 11.
Yeah, Miami signed our guy out of here. So that's about it. I mean, you don't see nobody else doing too much or nothing else at that position. So it's here there. It's here there.
Yeah.
But hopefully, like I said, a lot of kids, man, your life is going to change overnight.
Definitely.
Some of these kids that are in the draft, Coach Abe, some other guys that's been on the show have had their hands on these kids when they were younger. So it'll be real nice when Coach A come back to celebrate those guys getting drafted. I want Caleb Downs. I know my Eagles can't jump up that far. They'll give up a haul to try to go get him, but he's a top 10 player coming out, a local kid here, the safety, all-world safety out of Ohio State. So,
but see now, but here you go. A.J. Brown, if one of those top 7 teams need a wide receiver, that will be a good landing spot. If that team truly needs a impact wide receiver, I can actually see that happening. But
bad guy
rich when it comes to players, so I can't see a team giving them the option to go in the lottery and get a lottery player, and then they're right back at the mountaintop again. You know what I mean? Because that's what will happen if they was a trade AJ.
But bad guy Dallas, man, I can't say he a can't miss talent, It's not a quarterback draft, so he's the best quarterback to be taken.
I think he'd be the best next year. I think Mendoza, if this was his junior year, I think he would be the best overall ready quarterback next year with the Manning boy coming out and the other guy we were talking about coming. I still think Mendoza would be the best. But to say Cleveland is taking a lemon and Reuben Bain Jr.
Somebody's sending a shout at you. I don't know. We don't know who that is right there. Somebody mess with you.
But see, I'm a Hurricane fan, so let me say this.
Don't you fall for it.
You have a Dallas logo on your screen thing there. That tells me why you call him a lemon, because you're used to
see.
You call the best defensive end in the draft a lemon.
It was him. I believe it was him.
I'm not talking about Kev.
No, I believe that was Kev made that comment. I believe that was Kev. I'm just playing.
Are you the bad guy, Dallas?
Huh?
No.
Is that you, the bad guy, Dallas?
The bad guy Dallas? No.
Okay.
No, we just mess with Kev.
There's a guy in the chat called the bad guy Dallas, and he just called Reuben Bain a lemon. This man is 295 pounds. No, whatever he is, he's moving like he's 260, and you can't stop him, and you call it a lemon.
Well, they going by, again, they getting measured by their arms. You know they're going to get poked.
That don't mean nothing. But you said Mendoza is a can't miss talent. That's what they said about the Manning boy in Texas, and he's proven to be a can't miss talent.
Well.
But anyway, thank you for the comment, though, brother. We appreciate it.
I just wanted to jump in real quick.
Take that little hat off your head because you look like a big midget.
And contractor Kev in here today, and I just wanted to talk about the contract that got signed in Dallas real quick.
The kicker.
And how freaking surprised I am that actually happened. There's been a lot of trade rumors. You know, you can't trust half of what you see on the internet now, but there was a bunch talking about how he wanted to be the highest paid kicker. I believe he's got the same agent as Micah Parsons. And the original reports were they were off by like a couple $1 million that still would have made him the highest paid. Either way, $28 million for a friggin' kicker. Real quick, just to throw you some stats, Skip, from this past season.
Yes, sir.
20 yards and under, he was 10 of 10.
Okay, should be.
30 to 40 yards. I'm sorry, 20 to 30, he was 7 of 7.
Should be.
30 to 50, 10 of 10. The only misses he had this season were all from 55 plus, and he was 11 of 17.
Understandable.
So you got to realize, like, if it's a 2-point game and you're running down, that changes the scenario. Instead of having to get to the 30, hey, I really just got to get to the 45, maybe even midfield. And I've got an automatic chance there.
That's 68 new. 40.
I think he made 270s in last season.
No, he did not. Nobody's made 270s in one season, Kev.
He made it. Then it was a
61. I know he made one right there.
50-yard field goal.
But at the 40-yard, if you're at the 40-yard line, that's a 57-yard field goal from the 40. So you're talking about getting to the 50. That's 68 yards. And you know the wind got in Dallas Stadium. Ain't no wind, but no.
Well, he
65 yards was his. No, hang on. 66 yards.
Right.
Was his record.
Yeah, I know that, but when you said 70, no. Somebody made a 70-yarder in warm-ups, though.
Preseason. No, it was that Chicago kicker last year in preseason. Okay.
Yeah, but again, getting to the 40 for a kicker like him, but you're asking for obscene amounts of money when the position doesn't call for it. I don't care who your agent is, it just doesn't call for $28 million. Now, if you were 24 years old, and you did all of this, what you did in the past season, I could see it. But how long has he been a kicker, Kev?
2 years.
So he's young.
He started his career in a soccer league. He was a soccer player, and then he did one season in the UFL, and then got his NFL start. So he's been technically football kicking for 3 years.
So how old is he? What, mid-20s or late 20s?
Oh.
The reason I say that is because when you ask for that kind of money for that position, you got to have some longevity coming. You know, you can't. It's just not.
He's 31.
No, $28 million. Well, kickers lasted what, mid-40s?
I was gonna say he's
Kickers lasted
he's
mid-40s.
31. Yeah, he's 31 and he just started football a couple years ago. He ain't been hit like that. You know what I mean?
I'm sorry, Kim. You're right. I said before you came on that I was going to interact with the chat. Mendoza spanked all the corners he ran through. Every coverage that wanted smoke. Explain how Bain was dominant. Bain was double teamed every single game. They had game plans for him. And you don't think he was dominant. You know what, man, God Dallas, tell me Indiana is your team. Tell me that's your college team.
Well, I was going and Mendoza did go through whatever.
They went through everybody. They went through the gauntlet. They beat the shit out of people.
I'm not mad at him. The year before he did nothing in California, so he did transfer from California to get to this point for him to win. And I can't take nothing from him. Yes, they went through and beat the people that was in front of them to beat. My just personal opinion, you ought to compare Mendoza and Bain, two different positions. I can't do it. I'm just looking at the fact this is a weak.
You see that shit?
That's
not true.
This is
Ruben Bain had 9.5 sacks this year.
Well, this is a weak quarterback draft. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, Ruben Bain had a pretty good year. I don't really think you can.
The fact that he's saying he's comparing a quarterback to a defensive end is obscene. But to sit there and say, how can I say he's dominant? Everybody's saying he's dominant. I'm missing the point here. What are you getting?
Well, everybody, I'm not gonna say everybody skip. They got some. It's draft time now, so you see the poking and prodding and things of that nature. And the only thing they've said about him is that he got little arms, and so forth. He did pop when we watched Miami down the stretch. He was one of their main players on defense, and you can say 1 year players popping off the screen. This is what we got here.
No, he's not a 1 year player because he was a beast last year.
I'm talking about from on the mainstream, because we didn't think Miami was going to be in the position that they was going to be in, or whatever. So hey, I'm not mad at his opinion. I hear where he's coming from.
Yeah, but that don't make sense though. For you to compare a number one quarterback, number one pick quarterback, and he is the best overall, in my opinion. He's the best pro-ready player in the draft. Outside of the running back you were talking about. But for you to come on and say Mendoza is a can't miss and Ruben Bain is a bum, you're biased. You're either a Florida State fan or you're a junior college fan that never is nothing.
Well, he's going by stats, and I'm just telling you, going by stats.
How you know what he's going by?
Because I'm reading what he's saying.
The man had 9 sacks this year. He said he had 4. So
he had 4 sacks in the regular season.
He had 9.
He had 4 in the regular, 5 in the post.
Yes,
that's part of the season, though, D.
No, right. I agree. I agree. As a matter of fact, the postseason is where I need you to step up the most.
That's a fact. I agree.
So when you come on here and compare what defensive end has ever been compared to a quarterback coming into a draft?
Depending on where you pick them at. Me and you were just having a conversation backstage about overall top player. Remember what we were talking about? Overall top player. We were talking about different positions, but we were talking about overall top player when we were talking about the running back situation compared to a defensive end they took a couple of years ago. So sometimes when we're looking at overall player, this is the type of stuff we having, the conversation we having here. So I'm not saying bad guy Dallas is wrong, because that's his opinion. That's his opinion. I can't take that from him. Stats don't lie, because you're looking at production. But when you bring up Ruben Bain versus a Mendoza, if we're gonna look at it that way, Mendoza had 1 good year.
Exactly. But
I get what you're saying, bad guy Dallas. I get what you're saying.
Me too. But see, my thing is, number one, why was that even a topic? Ruben Bain and Mendoza in the same sentence.
We were talking about it. Me and you were talking about who was gonna get picked. And
we weren't talking about Ruben Bain at all.
No, we brought up Ruben Bain in the slots.
In the slots as far as teams that needed defense.
Yeah.
But when he said Mendoza's the best player in the draft, who said he wasn't? So again, he got a
Ruben
Dallas
Baines
star.
going to the
Kev,
Giants.
ain't no shot at you, Kev. Ain't no shot at you. But he got a Dallas star in his profile pic. So yeah, he ain't used to winning.
Appreciate it, bad guy Dallas.
But anyway, bad guy Dallas, we appreciate you, man. Keep coming with them comments, man. We're not mad. We just debate heartily. That's all. He's a Dallas fan.
What up?
He's a Dallas fan. He's an Eagles fan, and I'm a 49er fan. Now you know. So take your shots. We ready. But
All right. Well, fellas, I just wanted to stop in and jump on that Brandon Aubrey contract real quick. I'm gonna go back to being Bob the Builder.
Yeah, with that little bit of hat on.
And just remember, go Cox.
Yeah, but Bob the Builder used nails, man, not nail caulk. But anyway, yeah. This man said, "Give me Bain stats from 2024."
Well,
give me Mendoza stats from 2024.
I'm not gonna turn this to an argument with Bain.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Okay.
I got that was so silly. Bain and Mendoza. We having a Bain and Mendoza show tonight.
Oh, anyway, before you put anything else in the chat, tell us who your professional football team is. I'm sorry, your college football team is. Tell us who your college team is. Mine is the Hurricanes. His is the Bulldogs. Tell me who yours is. If you say Indiana, we're gonna block you. Nobody can come on here and say I'm an Indiana fan. You can't, because nobody was until they made it to the playoffs. So stop that. But go.
So as we'll let skip them food that mess there.
Yeah, I like
move up.
People, man. Penn State.
Penn State. It's Big Ten. Okay, well there you go. I'm not mad at you, sir. Be a Big Ten fan. So hey, I'm not. We believe in different football down here, as you know.
I appreciate you being honest. He's throwing left-handed this year to silence all the critics. Oh, this is he's a troll. Okay.
That's Judge Color. Judge, you so silly. We got as we know, we got NBA playoffs kicking off this past weekend and so forth. We got the home team here, Atlanta Hawks, going against the New York Knicks. Right now, they down by 10 in the first half. We got Cleveland going against the Toronto Raptors, and later on, we got the Denver Nuggets going against the Timberwolves. And these three games right here, Skip. Who do you have, in your opinion, taking the series? Now, mind you, Cleveland is up 1-0. Every team that's got the home court advantage right now is up 1-0 going in. And the Cavaliers
did have home court over Houston. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
On the Cavaliers, 68-55 right now. The Hawks are down by 10. It's 30-20. And we got Denver and the Timberwolves later on tonight.
I don't see the Raptors beating the Cavaliers. The Hawks have a great chance of beating the Knicks. I'm a Laker fan, so you already know. On the Raptors until they fall off.
The Hawks got to get the game tonight. And you know, in the other chat that we talked about other sports in with, you know, the local crew, Bo and all them. My opinion, the Hawks need to steal a game up there. I'm gonna let y'all two have that. The Hawks.
Yeah, hey, bad guy Dallas. You stay tuned, brother. We gonna finish this podcast. I got you, but go ahead, brother. I'm sorry.
The Hawks need to steal a game up there in New York to make this a series. Not saying they can't come home and get to, but I want them to try to take a game up there to make it the series, because with the departure of Trae Young, this is the first time since the Hawks went to the Eastern Conference Finals with them that they have made the playoffs. So it's a hell of an accomplishment for them, but they got to have a good showing.
Right, and that's why I said I think they started gelling at the right time towards the end of the season. So I could see them beating the Knicks because they're just more of a solid all-around team, a together team than the Knicks to me. But the Knicks are home, so this is one of those things where you got to steal one in order to win it, you know, on their home court. But I don't see the Raptors beating Cleveland. It might be a sweep with Cleveland and the Raptors.
You know what's crazy? What we are seeing in today's NBA, it's like 20-point blowouts in the first half.
Yeah.
And it's not the same NBA of what I grew up on, of course, what you grew up on seeing with some of the players. And it's like they get about 15, 20 points. It's like they just put in a white
Yeah.
flag and they
Yeah.
just be out there playing. And it doesn't make it entertaining at all after a
See,
while.
as a fan, I look at entertaining, especially when you're blowing somebody out, or the fact that you got up by 16. That's entertaining to me. So when people say, "Oh man, they took their foot off the gas," number one, and LeBron, let's use LeBron because everybody want to bag on him anyway. He's 41 years old, almost 42. So if I get up by 16, I'm taking LeBron out. You get what I'm saying? Because I need him to save that gas tank. So this era of NBA, they like to load manage, et cetera, and that's what they call themselves doing when they get up by 15 to 16 is load managing while they're in the game. So, bad guy Dallas, if you go hard, it's amazing.
I got you. Let's get. I got you.
You a Penn State fan, man. Come on, change speeds. We're on basketball now. If that's all, I'll tell you what. I concede Ruben Bain is trash. You win. Now let's talk about sports, period. God damn. You tell us D to tell me. Anyway, what I'm saying is this. Basketball to me, the entertaining part about basketball is getting that 16-point lead. It's stopping that all-American, that all-world, that all-NBA player, from doing what he needs to do to a la Allen Iverson or one-man gang team, So when people say I want to do entertainment, go to the All-Star game. You want entertainment. But I like to see teams come together and do what they need to do to win. So yeah, my version of entertainment is the occasional dunk on somebody or Steph busting threes in somebody's face, constantly putting them to sleep, etc. But I guess people it's like how people should be selling used cars. Okay,
they own you by this Ruben Bain.
They is not gonna let me have it. But
well, I'm gonna say this. Let's go and bury the hatchet. The year before Skips, I got you, so we can stop it. We can move on. He had 23 total tackles and 14 solo, 5.5 tackles for loss, and 3.5 sacks in 9 games played in his year before. So there you go. I just gave y'all the stat of what he had in his 24 season. And again, it's a hell of a fate that he's going to get drafted possibly in the first round or whatever. So there you go, bad guy.
But now, see, you put the trash can up there. Now you go, bad guy Dallas, and tell me Mendoza's stats in 24.
When he played,
since you were harping on that, so put that on the screen, and we're gonna keep it moving. Let's go, D.
Oh boy. So yeah,
he had 3.5 sacks in 24, and he had 4 in the regular season this year. So
the keep it moving. Now the only thing I know, because we jumping around, the problem I have with Mendoza, Shadur stats was better than his, and they gave Shadur fits. So I'll leave it at that, and we keep it on.
Well, you know why they gave Shadur fits, and it's going to be a complete argument every time. So he was arrogant. Johnny Manziel was arrogant, but he never got. Anyway, go ahead.
So basketball, Timberwolves and Nuggets. Skip, Timberwolves are down 0-1 to the Joker and company. Ant-Man just coming back from an injury. He ain't played in a while. Minnesota got to get together. This is a rivalry. It seems like every year for the past 3 years we've seen a Denver and the
Minnesota series.
It's a series. It's becoming a underlying rivalry through the franchise, and Ant has been a killer against them. But I'm gonna be honest with you, they might get his number this year.
You think?
I mean, because due to the fact he's coming back off injury, yeah, he gonna get his, but it's the home court advantage that comes in effect. If he doesn't get hot, and again, you gotta steal one of these games in somebody's home court. You have to win a series, unless you're gonna go all 7. So if you can steal a game tonight, going back home 0-2, it's a lot of more pressure on you than being down 1-1.
Definitely. And see, old school coaching, from my viewpoint of this series, I would do everything I can to keep Joker out of the lane.
You can't.
Keep him out of the paint. And what I mean by that is stretching on defense. You get what I'm saying? That way, if whoever he's guarding starts to make shots or gets the ball to the right person to make shots, and whoever it is, then it will make him have to work, and then he'd lose some of that stamina that he has for offense. So it's like if you kill the head, the ass die, or at least beat the head up. You get what I'm saying? But
Yeah, but
they have no answer, nothing for Joker, which is why.
Well, Rudy Gobert can't do nothing. He can't offensively. He can't do anything to Joker. Joker gonna spread the flow, and they initiate the offense through Joker.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? On the Nuggets team. So when you pulling a big out because the Joker can shoot threes and so forth. When you pulling that big out the lane, it opens up all the motion and whatever offense they running. And Joker is a hellified passer. So, top 10 in the league in assists as a big man. So, he's going to get his. It's just the fact, like I said, you make your name as a superstar in the NBA in the playoffs. And Ant-Man is already there, but I just think he doesn't have enough.
Yeah, he don't have enough
this year. He don't have enough this year. Randall is getting older, and the team is good, but not great.
Let's see, Randall is what, 6'9", 6'10"?
Yes. Yeah.
Joker is what, 6'10", 6'11"?
No, Joker's 7-footer.
Okay. If Randall could shoot, I would like that matchup. If Randall had a jumper, not necessarily a three-point shot, but if he had a 15 to 20-foot jumper, I would love to see him matched up against Joker because I think he's stronger, and a little faster, more swift of foot than Joker. I'm going to say that. But again, like you said, Joker has his skill set and there's nothing to match up to him. So I see Minnesota maybe winning one game, possibly two.
Yeah.
Maybe one, possibly two. Unless, like you said, Ant catches fire and then his defense is on point, and there you go.
Then you got your your Tuesday matchups. You got the 76ers versus Celtics. We always had that issue. Trailblazers versus Spurs, and your Rockets. Well, your Lakers versus the Rockets. Now, This 76ers and Celtics series, I think the Celtics are gonna sweep them because one reason. What always happens when the playoffs start with the 76ers, Skip?
Your boy fall off the map like he ain't even on the team.
He's hurt. The Beeb is hurt as usual.
Trust the process. That was his thing, wasn't it? Trust the process. He did shit with the process, but okay.
But he's hurt, and I think Boston is going to run through him like they did.
I think with him there, they ran through him. Even with him healthy,
the other night, they beat him by 32 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
The other night.
Yeah, I think Boston would have swept them whether he was there or not. Like you said, this is not, playtime. This is not BS time to mess around and get hurt. Trailblazers, I don't think they have anything for the Spurs. Wembyana's going to look God out there. They're going to have to shoot.
This is another interesting thing about Wembyana. You see a team of, as I always discuss, how these franchises retool and they keep the same model of player that they always have. The Spurs were known
thanks to the coach.
They had a hellified coach and they kept a big man. It didn't take them long to turn this around. They're a 62-win team this year. Wembyana is in the talk as MVP of the league, and that team made adjustments, did what they had to do. De'Aaron Fox, he's no slouch.
No, not at all.
It ain't just Wemby. You know what I'm saying? They are playing at a level where they wanted my picks to be in the Western Conference Finals. Not barring any injury, they could be in the finals.
Right, definitely. I see that. I can see that, but I can't see them beating Oklahoma. I just don't. But
gotcha. Neither
here nor there. The Lakers. I'm a Laker fan, regardless of who's there. So I definitely pick my Lakers over the Rockets. I believe there's an outside chance of Luka coming back before this series ends. if it goes 7 games, then I think there's a shot at him coming back, maybe game 6. I think I read it somewhere. I'm not sure. I didn't do my research on that. But I think AR is what?
Go ahead. I'm laughing. Yes, Portland still has a team. Go ahead.
You really don't hear about him like that no more.
Surprising.
AR is like gone, right? He's on IR, correct?
Damon Lillard is still playing. You talking about? I'm sorry. Yeah, your guy. Yeah. He still hurt. Yes.
Yeah, I'm talking about. I think he blew his knee, so I think he's gone. But I'm a Laker fan, so I'm gonna die with him, however it goes. But yeah, that's the gist of that.
You got on Wednesday, we got the last couple of games. You got the Magic versus the Pistons, and you got the Suns and the Thunder. Of course, all us probably here pick the Thunder to take over the Suns. This Magic and Pistons series is very interesting.
Magic beat stank off another night, boy.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you, we are in playoff basketball. Don't get it twisted. Just because you won 60 games, you ain't been here in a while. Detroit Pistons, you'll mess around and you find yourself in a 7-game series.
Yeah, that was crazy how bad they beat them. But like you said, playoff basketball. We'll see.
This is a subject that we did touch on. Skip, did you see what took place in the gambling scandal that's going on? Damon Jones said he wanted to move. You got Damon Jones, Rozier, and Chauncey Billups in that situation with the gambling. I didn't talk to you about it, but to bring it up now, that he wanted to move his plea bargain hearing or whatever the case is, where they're saying now he's going to plead guilty, meaning Damon Jones. And what Damon Jones is going to plead guilty to is he did make some bets and told everybody to put big money on the Milwaukee Bucks versus the Lakers at the time because Anthony Davis and LeBron weren't playing. They have the text messages. They have everything. This is, again, y'all be careful with these phones when you're having conversations and doing things like this, and it's all the way wrong. But now you want to move out from where you went because I guess of the stature or what he can, the time he could probably get or whatever the fine would be or whatever it is. He wants to move the hearing to another county or whatever it is from what I was figuring out, what I was reading. Terry Rozier and Chauncey Billups are steadfast with they no guilty plea with this situation. But I wanted to get your opinion on this because what I seen is they was like, this is a move that he's going to go on and plead guilty. Damon Jones.
In this situation for him, I can't speak of Rozier and Chauncey Billups, but for Damon Jones, if that's true about the text messages, it's so smart of him to go ahead and plea bargain and admit to it. That way it eliminates possible jail time. That's smart. But trying to change the venue, it's not like you're high profile because you're a superstar. It's not like the public knowing what you did is going to sway your guilt or innocence, because there's no jury that's going to say you're innocent and they got electronic proof. So it's smart of him to go ahead and plea bargain and take the probation and the fine or whatever and get it over with. But no, this is not like a murder trial where you're going to be put on trial on TV. You get what I'm saying? Like they're going to, talk about all of the stuff that went on, and then your guilt is going to be determined by a jury. No, this is not that kind of case. So.
My thing is, these are 3 former players and a current player, 2 former players and a current player. Chauncey Billups was coaching the Portland Trail Blazers at this time. He wasn't coaching at the time this took place, but he was the coach of the Trail Blazers. They're the only 2 defenders in this case.
They're the only 2 that they had evidence against. The feds don't come get you unless they got you.
But who them other folks that set the game up? What them the spaghetti folk?
Either they have a lot of money or they don't have enough proof. The feds, like I said, former convict, the feds do not show their hand unless they got a hand.
And you're right, I'm just very concerned that Terry Rozier, backup point guard role player, that's been in the league for a while. They got him, which again, if he has a good defense attorney, he can beat these charges because they're trying to say he was swaying how he was playing. You know what I'm saying? How you gonna tell me I missed the shot on purpose or whatever I was doing? Now, if I said I wasn't gonna play and I told y'all to bet on that, that's different. But I'm on the court, and we know they do things, Skip. I'm not a fool. Right. But I'm saying as a defense attorney, that would be my argument on a lower level of thinking.
Right, and that's a great argument. But what state's attorney's job is to create a story or a narrative based on the evidence they got. For example, you just said that they're going to try to tell you missed that shot on purpose. But if I create a story saying, I'm going to tell the coach before the game I'm feeling under the weather, so now when I miss a shot, that's my excuse. When you were checked out by the doctors, you were 100% healthy, but all of a sudden you're under the weather. So now a jury who's not an athlete, a juror who's not an athlete or who hasn't played organized ball can believe that story. You get what I'm saying? Now, he didn't put no false narratives in there. He just built the story by how he wanted to portray it. So that's what the state does in order to get a conviction versus saying, we have evidence he missed his shot intentionally. You don't. It's a theory. So you just construct that theory and give it to these people. And when they say jury of your peers, it's never a jury of your peers. It's always what the state wants or what the defense tries to not let the state have. It's never, if you're black, how can you have an all-white jury? If you're an athlete, how can you have non-athletic jurors? Those are not your peers. So it's all rigged in a way. So if you're guilty in any kind of way, it's best to try to wiggle out of it because the feds don't normally lose. I think they got like a 95% conviction rate. So, it's one of those things to where you better have a good enough lawyer to say, hey, we can beat this, or no, we can't beat this. Let me get you the best deal possible. And I think that's what Rozier, David Jones did. So, hey, it's what it is.
So moving right along, baseball season. We got baseball season kicking out. We have our local team. We are one thing we can agree on this show. We are Atlanta Braves fans.
Yes.
And right now the Braves are the only team in Major League Baseball. They have won every series. That's meaning they have played. So that means if it's a 4-game set, 3-game set, the Braves are winning 2 out of 3 or 4 out of 3. Right now they are 15-7.
Yep.
Look like they finna be
16-7.
And
we have watched it go 7-4, 1 out in the 9th inning. Yes,
they are whooping tail as we speak right now. And what I do think, I was discussing this earlier, the managing change. Brian Snicker going on retire. Walt Weiss is now the manager of the Braves. Skip, he has an aggressive style of managing right now. I don't know how it's going to sustain for the course of the year, but what I did like the other night when I seen it, that we always look at, he don't let them pitchers stay out there and get in a bunch of mess. If he sees some shakiness going on, he go out there and get them.
That's right. That's why you have a bullpen.
And the Braves arguably right now have put together a bullpen, barring any injury, that you don't want to see them in the 7th, 8th, and 9th innings. And if the Braves are up, you don't want to see these guys right now. And timely hitting. Barring injury, the Braves are doing, I think they on 7-game winning streak now. They swept the Phillies, and they've already jumped on top of the Washington right now. As I say, they're going to go on and win this game unless Hellfire.
And like you just said, his aggressive managing. I'm looking at the injury report. Acuna Jr. is day-to-day. Relief pitcher Burkhalter is on the 7-day injury list. Sean Murphy, our catcher, 10 days. Spencer Strider, 15 days. And Ha-Seong Kim is on a 10-day. We're missing potential all-pro players because of injury, and we're still balling. That's good coaching, man. That's what that is. That's great.
Acuna gonna always be day-to-day because he's coming back from injury. He's been playing.
Right. He's been playing, but I'm just saying this is what he has. If we're at full strength doing this, oh well, look what you got.
Yeah.
But we're not at full strength and we're still doing it. So that is a shout out to the coaches and what they're doing with the players they got at hand. So shout out to them, man. Oh, we're 8-4 now. Boom.
Yeah, and like I said, you baseball's a long season. We know it's early. I'm just happy that they're getting off to a fast start because you got some of these big payrolls. I don't know if you know it. The Mets have lost 11 straight.
I don't follow nobody but the Braves and the Dodgers.
The New York Mets have lost 11 straight. They have a payroll that we were talking about last week, almost $1 billion. I mean, well, 500 million of a payroll they have over there. The Phillies, they've lost about 6 or 7 straight. Also, these are teams that are in the Braves division. I was speaking with my cousin who's a baseball enthusiast, and I told him I would love for the Braves to get a lead because a lead in baseball is a little bit different than football and basketball because if you get up by 10, 15 games, you can dog almost book unless you just have a fall off the map type year.
Right.
You can book that you got this division.
And in baseball, it's kind of hard to go on a losing streak like that unless you're just garbage. So if you build that kind of lead up, then you can coast. Like what we're just talking about with the NBA, you can kind of coast and manage games. Another team that's on fire though, D, is the Dodgers, man. They 15-6. But they got $1 billion salary. So they're doing what the Yankees used to do. They're paying the players to stay, and the players are performing. Whereas with the Yankees, they had so many players they paid to stay that they just were automatically there. You know what I mean? Because they replaced another home run hitter with a home run hitter, and when DJ was there, it was the Yankees was. I hated them, but I had to give it to them. But yeah, I got to shout the Dodgers out, man, because they are Super Bowl. They are World Series ready, and they just went up 2-1.
So these are, like I said, we do talk a little bit of all genres of sports here. As we go on, we'll keep up with the Braves. Like I said, that's our local team. We are biased when it comes to those guys.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? That's one of our things, right?
Yeah, bad guy, Devil. Who your baseball team? You got to get on football, man. It seems like you got stuck on Bane. Like, damn, Bane must took your girlfriend or something.
Oh my God! But yeah, so that's all we have. Go ahead, Skip.
Yeah, I appreciate, man, the comments. Truly the back and forth. It's all opinion. I don't get mad. My face will probably give you the idea that I'm mad. I'm not. John Connor, the comedy relief, we appreciate that. Who else checked in? I'm trying to shout everybody out, man.
Your boy went on here. What truck at? I need to find a trucker.
This is the first time he came on to mess with me.
Yeah.
Mama was on too. I seen you, Mama. Hey, and I guess his comment, he deleted his comment. There was another guy, but anyway, we appreciate the interaction, man. We missed Kent tonight. Big Bo didn't come on, but we'll see you guys next week, man. And as always, I'm sorry.
They watching the Hawks game. They probably.
Wow.
Yeah, but it shouldn't. Don't be so.
But man, we truly do appreciate the back and forth in the comments, man. And I wouldn't care if Bane don't get drafted. I'm just a Hurricane fan. You know what I mean? I would be pissed, but that ain't got nothing to do with me. But yeah, man. We normally do our last take here, but it's just two of us, so I'm just gonna say, man. I really want the Raiders to get Mendoza, but like what D said last week on the podcast was, if the Raiders can make that first pick into multiple first round picks and then some more picks, then there's other options. But
I don't. I mean, that was just my opinion. I don't think they would do it.
But
you never know. But thank everybody for tuning in, like we always say here. One thing I want to address with these kids again, these guys that's finna make all this money, be careful. We just seen Georgia Zachariah Branch got into a situation down here in Athens where he went to jail on a $39 bond because the officer asked him to move back on the sidewalk and he smirked at him. So the officer gets upset, throws the cuffs on him, and take him to jail and charge this kid. This kid is finna get millions of dollars. And you see how that goes on your record as something that will cost you when you
It
know
won't. That won't.
we know it won't, but I'm just saying you bad press you don't need right now.
Right. So I'm gonna add to what you just said. What you just said is 100% correct. Keep your nose clean. But what's gonna happen? What a lot of these players, black and white, need to realize is there's a target on your back now that you're off the football field. You're gonna be a millionaire, so let's do something to make him do something so I can sue him. Or let me get pregnant by him so I can get some money out of him. Whatever the case may be, whatever your vice is, it's gonna magnify because now the bullseye is on your back. But to these players, you know where you are. And if you don't, you're dumb. Athens is a redneck town. That's just what it is. It's, I want to say 85 white, 15% other. It's not just black, it's all the other races there. So why in the world would you be playing with these rednecks? You know, when you're in a town that's a small town and it's just that college. Penn State is in a small town. Was it Penn State? There's a major colleges are normally in small towns, and everything about that town is that school. So just be cognizant of the fact that people will try to lock you up. What I think is going to happen is those charges are going to get dropped, and that officer is going to get reprimanded because that was bull.
Yeah, but like I say again, you got to be mindful of, hey, you have an agent now. You are a brand because that's what they're using now. You're not just representing a team because you haven't gotten drafted yet, but you are a brand. You will be making more money that you've ever seen in your life in a couple of days just by signing your name on a piece of paper. You ain't even made it to camp yet. You probably already got fronted money from your agent. This is what they do based on potential. And you don't want anything to derail the blessing that is bestowed upon you just because you're playing a kid sport. We'll be back, for our good, bad, and ugly of the draft. My thing, I like to look at the red carpet of the draft when it comes up because I like to see the mothers and fathers and try to get a background of where some of these kids are coming from. Because we don't, on a national stage, sometimes you don't get to see some of these players. Just because I'm a Georgia fan, he's a Miami fan. You got kids that's going to get drafted that we have not ever seen play before, but they was on a team that wasn't in the limelight, but they are dogs. So, don't get it twisted. I keep up with a lot of things and make sure we have a lot of people. But
one more thing too. John Connor Dallas, Bad Guy Dallas, y'all please come back, subscribe, man, so y'all can come back next week so we can get your input and your bragging about Bain or whoever next week, man, because this is what I think makes these type of podcasts so good is that we can agree to disagree. We can argue about different players and different teams and whatnot, and still it's just sports. So Bad Guy Dallas, I particularly want you to come back because I want to hear how you bash my man or how you feel this and that, and Mendoza to Sanders, no comparison.
The question I know he's gone, but the question I would, from you, Skip, because we don't know, is Bain in your top 10, top 15? Will he go in the first round?
Draft picks?
Yes.
I think he's the best defensive end in the draft. So I would. Who needs a defensive end in the top 10 though?
So
outside of New York Giants, I don't think they're going to get him. They're too high. I don't think he's a top 5 pick. No.
Okay, that's what
Giants are picking 5. So I think what Giants have 5 and 11 or something like that. So there's a chance that they would get him, but that's not their main concern. But I think he's top 12. I think he'll go in the top 12. Bain will.
Okay. All right. Well, we're gonna remember that because you did, that's one of your players, or you say whatever. But yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm surprised Bad Guy Dallas they put the trash can up there no more. But okay. But yeah, man. Hey, look, guys, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate y'all for tuning in with us every week, man. We're trying to get this thing steady with us so we can, try to make this thing work. But again, as always, thank you guys. So the guys and girls that did tune in, we'll see you guys next Monday at 8:00 with our draft mock-up cover. And yeah, like my man Kev always say, keep the beer cold and the wings lemon pepper. D, take it away, brother.
We out.